terrestrial radio, you guys all know that I'm a huge radio fan. But the commercials, the amount of commercials, the length of commercials, and the quality of commercials are just painful. How many times can you try to sell me Viagra? I have a few more years before I'm going to need that.
Yeah.
You know it's out there,
a few
so
more
you'll
months.
find it when you're ready for it.
Yeah, and the other, I know that my work schedule being what it is, a lot of times I'll be listening to the radio third shift.
Oh, jeez.
And there's something on, like I'll scan around, and on WPRO AM, there's something called Red Eye Radio. And now when they get up a subject and start talking about it, it can actually be a little bit interesting. The only problem is, now we all believe in, like, the line of bull to, introduce the show and, get everybody interested in sticking around. But that program there, I mean, if I was to time it, with a stopwatch, I think they spend about 20 minutes per hour telling you what you're going to be hearing discussed, then what you did hear discussed, and
Nothing gets discussed?
And nothing gets discussed. I think the last time I listened to it for an hour straight, I think maybe we listened to maybe like 3 phone calls and, maybe 10 minutes of program.
Which, by the way, might be why your show, The Haunted Cabaret, which is on a little later in the evening due to the content, but on Rhode Island Free Radio, Gangbusters for us is at the after work hours, and then it dies down a little while, and then it's the overnight hours where I just program in the craziest content that you could possibly want to listen to, and the listenership is just huge at that hour because there's nothing else to listen to.
And where exactly does it kick in the best? Have you found? I'm just curious now.
From 11:30 at night until the wee hours of the morning.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Because, AM and FM, AM talk radio is a wasteland.
Yeah.
It sucks. And I'm a radio fan saying that,
I'm a little scared. I think our talk about the Confederate flag has raised another civil war. I hear a lot of gunfire going on outside there.
Chuckles, it's the 4th of July weekend. The rest easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what that was. That's not a gun.
Sure.
There's often gunfire where our studio is located. I've just been reminded.
I thought I was back in Providence on another radio station that charges you to use the crapper. But we won't make that name of that radio station.
So it being 4th of July weekend, I do have one more question that I want to float to you guys. And it hit me at a personal level this week. And as I mentioned at the top of the hour, Chuckles the Clown I would consider to be the most patriotic member of the Rhode Island Free Radio family. But earlier this week, I was just absolutely exhausted, just going batshit crazy for the past few weeks. And I had been scheduled to go to like a municipal town meeting. Now, if you've ever been to your town hall or been involved in municipal government or any of those things, I'm the only person there under 100 years old, and I'm barely exaggerating. And it being 4th of July, I got to float to you guys. Why am I the only person there under 100 years old? Why are people so reluctant to get involved in government on the actual, we had a good conversation, and there's a lot of people that get up on a soapbox and they bellyache, but when it comes to actually doing real government on that tactile level, nobody in our generation gives 2 craps. I'm the only one there.
In other words, hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on, the actual getting it done, the real stuff. Now, you would assume that the people maybe my age that own houses, that are starting families, that have really invested in their communities, they'd be the ones down there. And as I was looking around, completely exhausted, almost falling asleep, I thought to myself, why am I the only one here that cares? And there's this reluctance, and I know there's a few different issues on why people are reluctant, and unfortunately, there's people who get involved in local government and in governmental affairs just so they can bully other people. And those are the people that I have done a good job of running off in my past experiences. But why is it that people in our generation, I use that loosely, don't want to get involved?
Who wants to go first?
You said it earlier. They're too busy watching television. Stuff's not affecting them. Like, I guarantee if, and I'm going to catch hate mail for this, and I'm used to it, so go ahead and start plugging away. If you dwindle down the government assistant program, points to people that actually need it and those that aren't abusing it, those halls would be filled with people complaining. If you took away the television and the newspapers and you really hit hard with some of these tax issues to the point where they had to listen to you, they'd be there. Mm-hmm. I mean, but they're distracted by so many other forms that they don't see everything else in front of them. Like ourselves, we live in Coventry. That's where the insane asylum is. And the town's actually getting fed up, and there's more people showing up. Number one, they're cutting our fire district.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, listening to this probably don't realize that where Chuckles lives right now, because of wasteful government, does not have actual legitimate fire coverage.
That's because they're preparing to burn down Chuckles' house.
And nobody's going to respond. I mean, you're going to get the garden hose if you want to.
So Chuckles, we will defend you. But
not only that, but they're starting to jack the taxes up again. And I was watching something on news where the people are like, what the hell are we getting out of these taxes besides more taxes? And the gentleman's response to that, he was so angry he got up and walked out. Instead of answering the guy's question, this foolish man got up and walked out of the meeting. And he's supposed to be leading it.
People are finally starting to ask questions because we're all getting to the age of we're not so consumed in our Facebooks and our Twitter lives and finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. People are getting married and having children, as Tony said, and we're starting to realize
there's no better time to find a girlfriend than after getting married.
Exactly. I mean,
and you have double the bills.
Everyone needs wife number 2.
You heard it here on the radio.
I think you just got permission.
You already have a wife number 2. She'll beat your butt.
Wow.
Yeah, the other answer to that question, though, is I don't think it's completely a matter of time. I think we've reached a point where public service, if you want to call it that, or participating in the government, participating in public service is looked at as a very slimy thing. It's kind of like something slimy and nasty. In other words, people don't want to participate in the government or public service for the same reason that most people don't want to participate in, I don't know, the red zone or a peep show district.
They don't want to get it on their shoes.
Now, as much as we might favor those things, here we endorse prostitution, peep shows, and sexual exploitation in all its forms.
Especially in West Warwick.
Especially in West Warwick. But most people, outside the cool culture that we endorse here at the station. Now, kidding aside, I think it's a serious point. People look upon government and public service as dirty. In other words, it's something that you don't. If you're a decent person, you can put that in quotation marks if you want. It's something that you don't want to get your hands dirty touching. In other words, you can't participate in it without being corrupt, without basically becoming what it is that you're protesting in the first place. So I think. I can't think of a better word. It's slimy. It's something you don't want to touch.
I give everybody in this room permission to please hold me to this. If I ever get to the point in my civic involvement career where I become what I hate, please take me out back here in lovely scenic West Warwick, Rhode Island, and beat the crap out of me.
Well, Tony, I think the fact that you weren't elected to the post that you were seeking in the last election proves that you weren't willing to do what was slimy and necessary to.
That's true. I wasn't willing to take donations. What's that tell you?
It tells me that, first of all, you have no future in politics, so stick with the radio. And second of all, that you're a man of character, and that's the thing. Most people with any trace of character, find something other to do than politics.
See, I come from a very unique perspective in the fact that I have no feelings. So that really helps in civic involvement.
It really helps when you take a header off the stage and go face.
Well, we spoke about this band a little while ago. They're going to be in studio with me on the Tony Jones Show, and they're going to be on My Not Out Radio in just a few weeks' time. They have a huge show coming up at the Met, and in my opinion, they've been around forever. Before I hand things off to Chuckles the Clown to talk about, and we have conspiracy theories about this, the rash of shark attacks happening, we're going to hear a little Senior Discount, this track, and that's Goodbye. You heard it here on Rhode Island Free Radio. Little senior discount, and that's goodbye right here on Rhode Island Free Radio on rifreeradio.org. And that's goodbye specifically goes out to our old pal Dr. Stayham High, who is taking off this evening. Don't be a stranger, man. We, of course, fully support the legalization of marijuana here. I personally, at least, support that. And we support it here on Rhode Island Free Radio. Thank you all for tuning in. We are live and local, as most other stations are just spinning some
top 500
silly, crappy thing. You hear live and local radio here on Rhode Island Free Radio. And upcoming, one of our favorite parts of the year, one of the few good things about actual real television, if you will, is Shark Week. No pun intended. I am waiting with bated breath for Shark Week, but yeah, I know that was cheesy.
Wow. You want to put some clown makeup on this dude? He's going to take my job. Keep that stuff up.
Yeah.
Now, they say if you're attacked by a shark, and this is one of my favorite things, if you're attacked by a shark, you should try to punch him in the nose. And all I picture is the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon Jabba Jaw at that point. Wow.
Now, Mr. Jones, you know that's not true. You watched Shark Week last year, did you not?
Of course.
And Mythbusters showed, like, punching a shark in the nose. It's not going to happen.
Just
Now,
gonna bite harder.
The best part of that specific episode of Mythbusters is that to make this machine, I'm sure you remember if you saw this episode, they needed a big rubber fist. And they said, well, we're going to find a big rubber fist. And they said, well, we are in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they went to the local sex shop and found a big rubber fist for this shark punching machine.
Yeah, that is an absolute, like, myth at its own. If a shark gets a hold of you, let's just put it this way, you're done. There's no way you're going to get out of that. Maybe if it's a little one, yeah, but
until the shark tears off his hunk of flesh.
right, you're screwed. I mean, I don't know too many people that have punched a great white in the nose and it's let go of them. I don't think that happens. I think you punch it in the nose, it bites down harder.
I think that's when you find your arm in the stomach of the shark after that.